Okay, so this might sound like something straight out of a horror movie, but I swear to you, this actually happened. I was cleaning out my closet, just tossing old clothes into a donation bag, when I noticed something weird. A draft, cold air coming from behind the back panel. I pushed a little, and the panel moved, like it wasn't even attached properly. Behind it was a narrow space, dusty and dark. I grabbed a flashlight and crawled in, thinking maybe it was just a gap in the wall. But what I found inside was a tiny, hidden room, and on the walls were photos of me, hundreds, some of them from years ago, sleeping, walking to school, photos I had never seen before. That's when I knew someone had been watching me for a long time. Let me rewind a bit. I'm 17, and I live with my dad and little brother in this old two-story house in a quiet suburb. We moved in when I was around 10, after my parents divorced. My mom left. No note, no goodbye, just vanished. At least, that's what I was told. It was always kind of a weird subject. My dad would just say she wasn't well, and then change the topic. So I stopped asking. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. Dad worked long hours. My brother was glued to his video games. And I pretty much kept to myself. My room was my little sanctuary until last week, when everything changed. I was doing a deep clean, not by choice, by the way. Dad had been on this to cluttered kick and told me to clear out stuff I didn't need. So I'm pulling shoes, old hoodies, notebooks, the usual, when I notice that the back of my closet feels off, like colder than it should be. And the panel at the back, it had a tiny gap, like it wasn't sealed properly. Now, I've lived in that room for years, and I'd never noticed it. Naturally, curiosity won. I pushed on the panel, and to my shock, it gave way. Behind it was a tight crawl space, dusty, spiderwebs everywhere. But then, I noticed something even stranger. Footprints in the dust. Fresh ones. Like someone had been in there recently. I grabbed my phone flashlight and slid inside. The passage curved slightly, and then opened into a hidden room, like an attic space, but fully enclosed. The walls were covered in photos. At first, I thought maybe they were just old family photos. But then I realized they were all of me, from every age, taped up with scribbled dates underneath. First day of 6th grade. Sleeping, age 13. Walking home alone. My stomach dropped. These weren't normal pictures. They were stalker photos, taken without me knowing. From outside the house, through my window, even from inside the house. One photo, I swear, was of me brushing my teeth. The angle. From inside the bathroom door. I freaked out, stumbled backward, nearly dropped my phone. My mind was racing. Who took these? How long had they been watching me? And most importantly, why? But not just any baby picture. One I'd never seen before. And on the back, in fading ink, was a name. Myra. Not my name. My name is Sophie. That's when I started panicking for real. I ran to the attic above the hallway and started searching through boxes. If there was any truth to this, I had to find it. And I did. In a box labeled tax stuff, hidden beneath folders, was a set of old hospital documents. One of them, a birth certificate, the name on it, Mira Elizabeth Caldwell. Same birthday as mine. Same birth weight. Same time. Different last name. Different parents. I couldn't breathe. I kept digging. I found a newspaper clipping. An old missing child flyer. The photo. Me or Mira, I guess. The article said a baby girl named Mira had been abducted from a hospital room during a storm in 2008. Parents devastated. Investigation ongoing. No leads. I collapsed on the floor. Everything I knew about my life, my name, my family, was now a giant question mark. I finally confronted my dad. I waited until my little brother was asleep and walked into the living room. Shaking, holding the photos and the article. I said, "Who am I?" He went pale. Like ghost pale. He didn't deny it. He just sat down and put his face in his hands. Then he told me the truth, or at least his version. He said he and my mom couldn't have kids. They applied for adoption, but it fell through. Then, one night, he came home and she was just holding me. A baby. Said a woman at the hospital had given her a gift. He was scared, confused, but she refused to give me up. She raised me like I was hers. And when she realized the cops were closing in, she left, disappeared, and left me behind. He swore he didn't know the full story until after she was gone. And by then, he didn't want to lose me too. He said he loved me like his own, that he couldn't let me go. I didn't know whether to scream or cry. I asked about the photos, the hidden room. Why keep watching me in secret if I lived in the same house? He said they started after my mom left. He got paranoid, afraid someone would come take me away. So he made that room, watched me grow up, made sure I was safe. I mean, I get the love part, but that was not okay. That was obsession. That was fear disguised as care. And I didn't know if I could ever look at him the same way again. The next morning, I made the hardest decision of my life. I took the documents, the photos, and I called the number on the missing child flyer. They didn't believe me at first. But after some back and forth, a detective came to our house. They took DNA samples. And a week later, the truth was confirmed. I wasn't Sophie. I was Mira. I had another family. One that had spent nearly 17 years wondering what happened to their daughter. And just like that, everything changed. The reunion was surreal. I met people who looked like me, people who had my laugh, my eyes, my mom, my real mom, held me like she'd been holding her breath for years. And I cried in her arms like I was 5 again. The investigation is still ongoing. My dad, the man who raised me, is under house arrest, pending charges. It's complicated. I still love him in a weird, broken way. But love doesn't erase the truth. And the truth is, I was taken, raised in a lie. Sometimes the truth hides in the most unexpected places. Behind closets, behind names, behind the people we trust the most. And when it finally comes out, it doesn't always feel like freedom right away. It feels like breaking, like betrayal. But the truth, even the ugliest kind, is always better than living a beautiful lie. If something ever feels off, trust your gut. Ask the questions. Open the door, because what's hidden has a way of finding the light. Thanks for watching. If this story meant something to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Storyly Tales. We're here to help you grow your English, your values, and your heart, one short story at a time. Your next favorite is just a scroll away.